streaming, and we should be live. Let's post it in a comment. Perfect. Are we live? Are we not live? Brilliant. Looks like we're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I've actually realized we need to change slightly a few things. Oh, okay. Perfect. Just updated the title. This is episode 33 of Learn Italian Live. So we've been going on for quite some time. Welcome, everyone. Today, like most of our sessions, we're going to be learning some Italian, new Italian vocab. Every Sunday, we meet at 2 p.m. GMT to learn Italian together. This means having interactive sessions where we speak Italian, write, read Italian. You guys ask me questions. I ask you questions sometimes. And we just keep asking each other's questions until you know, we get to about half an hour and then we go home. No, I'm kidding. Ideally, I would like to answer a lot of your questions, doubts, problems, situations to do with Italian specifically and Italian language. So here at Italian Mastery, we help people from all walks of life to learn Italian, pronunciation, grammar, vocab, fluency, all issues to do with language learning. Buongiorno a tutti, ciao Arturo, ciao Diana, ciao Amedeo, Fiore, buongiorno, ciao a tutti, gli orologi ha cambiato, vero? Sì. L'ora è cambiata. Qui in Inghilterra l'ora è cambiata. La settimana scorsa. So last week the time changed, and that's probably why a lot of people missed out on the last week's session. We're going to go into detail as far as how to talk about this. Maybe this is a good topic, actually. I didn't think about talking about this. I wanted to talk about something else today. I wanted to talk about nature, sceneries, and that's why the image that you see, I thought we might want to describe that. But I'm happy to talk about time zones. These things are very, very helpful to discuss because they're very relevant to traveling, going on holiday, but also just moving from country to country, continent to continent, time zone to time zone. Benvenuti. Aspetto ancora 1 minuto, 2 minuti, e poi cominciamo subito. So I'm going to wait a couple of minutes and then we can begin with this new session. The siren is not for me. They're not looking for me. Not this time. And so please, if you have any comment, question, or if you have anything to say that you think might describe the photo that you see to my right or left, then feel free to put it in the chat, or if you're watching this as a recording, put it in the comments, and these things get picked up by me and we can discuss and learn together. The time zone is a tricky one. Okay, we already have some examples to talk about. That's great. Um, Ragazzi, più sono gli esempi e più è facile imparare. The more the examples and the easier it is to learn, especially in these sessions, because I'm going to pick up things that you write. I'm not going to write any examples. I'm not crazy. You are going to write the examples, and I am just going to assume that an Italian native speaker is writing that and comment on things. I think this is the healthiest way, because I think as a learner, the superpower that we don't have as language learners, that we wish we had, is access to the native speaker's internal dialogue. I mean, if I could say, if I wanted to learn Vietnamese or Spanish, and if I spoke to a Vietnamese native speaker, I wish I could get access to their internal dialogue, what they are thinking as I speak. That would be the best. That would be amazing. That would be perfect, because then I would get access to that information. Unfortunately, that's not possible because people are too, well, first of all, nobody's going to work for you and, teach you lots of different things, not knowing you, or even if they know you. I mean, it would be a pretty unfair exchange of value. And also, it would take a lot of guts for people to be blunt and explain things, right? Even if they are off topic. Maybe you're saying something and there's something else that's wrong, and it would be impossible to bring it up. So these sessions, they are meant to work as a sort of feedback for you, for the people that are willing to engage in this crazy experiment. So you speak, you make the you make the shots, you call the shots, and then I just comment, you know. And as a native speaker of Italian, I can probably give you some. I mean, it's very much fun for me. I'm not on the spot ever. At least sometimes I am, actually, because the questions are very difficult, and sometimes the things that we discuss are difficult. But anyways. Let's get started. Enough waiting. There's already enough of us here, and we have something to talk about. Wow, these sentences are actually quite interesting. So let's get started. Right. So this is what chat has come up with as first example. Questa scena è molto tranquilla. La giornata è appena iniziata. La nebbia si alza dall'acqua. So actually, I think these are three examples, right? So these are three standalone sentences. I don't think they need each other. They are completely independent. Of course, they can be uttered one after the other. They make sense, but they also make sense in a vacuum by themselves. Questa scena è molto tranquilla. And by the way, this is amazing. So I don't have comments as far as correctness. I mean, we will see it together, but I don't see any issue with these sentences. Questa scena è molto tranquilla. So the challenge for me is that I want to be able to explain things to beginners. And some of the people attending these sessions, I realize, are not beginners. So that's the challenge, right? I don't want to have anyone become sort of too bored, but at the same time, some of the Italian used is excellent, in the least, but also sometimes not basic. This is a basic sentence. So we have this word. This word, I mean, whenever you see this word, you should feel a sense of relief because this word is super common and it kind of sets the whole sentence for us. È. È means it is. So we know it's the verb to be. We know it's the third person singular. Now I know that the verb to be and its conjugations are difficult because they're all unique, and so everybody has to learn them. I am is io sono. You are, tu sei. Then we have he is, lui è, etc., etc. So they're all different, so you have to learn them off by heart. But this, the third person singular, it's too important because you also use it every time you say it is, blah, blah, blah. Something is. So the third person singular, super common, è. And it's not pronounced I, like this one. It's pronounced è. Now the subtleties around è, I, and o are for advanced speakers. But again, if you want to pick this up, pick it up because it's an important difference. So now that we have the main predicate which is the engine of the sentence, we need to find out who is actually carrying out the action, the subject. We know the subject has to be third person singular. Now the way I work, I realize, is very much grammar heavy, but it's meant to be in such a way that everyone can understand, right? So if you can understand these things without me rambling, that's fine. If not, it's a good system to have. Find the verb, then work your way backwards. Subject. This is the subject. Scena. Scena is not a word for beginners. I wouldn't recommend you learn scena as part of your first 100 words because it's a very nice, advanced, specific word. It means scene, and it's used in the same way as it's used in English. So it can be a literal scene, like in this case, we have an image, and so it can be thought of as a scene. But it's also used in, for example, if someone makes a scene in the middle of I don't know, doing the shopping or in front of people. So it can be used in the same way as it's used in English. By the way, let me know if you can't hear me well or if I'm going too slow or too quick. Please give me feedback as we go. Scena. Do not confuse with scema or scemo, which means idiot. Scena. Questa is a super useful word. This is a super useful word, and it means this. It means this. Questo. Why didn't it pick up the color? So questo, quello. This and that. These are super important words. I mean, we've seen them already many different times. So important to learn them for sure. Questa scena. So this scene is, right? So we have the first part of the sentence sorted. Is what? Tranquilla. Tranquilla. Tranquilla means calm. Molto is the adverb that goes with it, which means very. So this is just, it could be removed. It adds strength, emphasis to the sentence. This scene is very calm, relaxing. Great. So this scene is very relaxing. So this is the first sentence. Let me know if you have questions, answers, doubts, comments on this question, on this sentence. I think I'm done with it. It's perfect. Questa ends in A because the noun that it refers to is scena. Scena is feminine, which means it ends in A also. And then the adjective or parte nominale, which doesn't matter, it's an adjective. The adjective tranquilla is also ending in A because it refers to the same word, scena. So scena sets the scene, no pun intended, for gender, and then everything else related to scene is obviously feminine. La giornata è appena iniziata. Fantastic. Very similar sentence. Can you tell me what this means? Except the author, because the author probably knows. So chat, do you know what this means? There's a lot of parts that are kind of same as in the previous sentence, right? Look at this. I mean, I can just copy paste, right? And then we have the usual ending. This is another sentence where we have feminine, we're talking about something feminine, right? We have a feminine subject, a feminine noun. And I want to talk about this also. Let's do this. Okay. Okay, chat is saying the day has just begun. And it's correct. The day is just begun. One thing to notice about this sentence, I mean, nothing unusual. Giornata is feminine. The author could have chosen giorno, which is masculine. But giornata, they both mean day. But giornata is more emphasizing the duration, so the fact that the day has a length and has stages. Giorno just means day, right? 3 giorni, 4 giorni. You would never say 4 giornate because it's weird. Unless you want to emphasize the fact that they were like full days, or, you know, that there were 4 days worth. Anyways, to keep it simple, you would always say 4 or 5 days. It's the word for day is giorno. 4 giorni, 5 giorni, 6 giorni. Let me. Right? So you would use the word giorno. Giornata puts emphasis on the fact that it's a long duration of time during which things can happen. And in fact, the sentence talks about the fact that the day has just begun, right? So we're at the very beginning. We're in the morning, early in the morning, perhaps. La giornata è appena iniziata. And another thing, obviously, la is the definite article, feminine because giornata is feminine. Iniziata ends in a again because it refers to the same word, which is giornata. Appena, the fact that it ends in a has nothing to do with the feminine case. Appena is a word that means just. È appena iniziata. So if I change the sentence to il percorso, or let's say l'anno è appena iniziato. the year is or has just begun. This is also correct. And as you can see, this is masculine. This is masculine. This would be masculine. It's lo, but we have lo anno. So we use the apostrophe to cut out the o. And we just read l'anno. But this would be a definite article in its masculine form. This is in its masculine form because year is masculine. Appena remains unchanged because appena is just an adverb. It means just. Right. Moving on. La nebbia si alza dall'acqua. This is a little bit more difficult. So let me know if I'm too quick, but I'll go quickly, but it's a little bit more tricky. Nebbia means fog. Fog. And we use the si riflessivo. So if you don't know about the reflexive form, I think there's an old video that we've made, but of course in the university we explain this at length. Si riflessivo is basically a pronoun that is very annoying. We need it when we use a verb that wouldn't make sense without it. And what would that verb be? So for example, the sentence means, let's start from the translation. So the fog is rising up, rising from the water surface. Please let me know if there's any better translation in the chat, because I'm not confident this is a great translation. This is of course literal. The fog is rising up from the surface of the lake, of the water, the sea, the lake, whatever is in the photo. Now, rising up is a verb, to rise up, to go down, to eat, to sleep. It's just a verb. In Italian, you cannot just say something rise up. Rise up needs an object. So it needs something to act on. So you have to say the fog rises itself, right? So alza se stessa, which then is that meaning itself is shortened into si. Si means itself. La nebbia, the fog, rises, it lifts up, it goes up, it makes itself go up because it needs the object. The object is this, which is the fog itself, from the water. Acqua is water. Dalla is from the Dalla is from, the preposition, plus la, the, and then water, acqua. This is more complicated, but as I said, I hope that I've covered, roughly what the meaning is, briefly. Let me know if you have any more questions. Let's move on. Whoa, that was difficult. I want to come back to a comment that was made about the time, if we have time, but let's go ahead first. Okay, so I like this example as well. Congratulations, by the way. These are really good examples. I think the examples are improving, and not by just a little bit. I'm very happy. Il bosco, and this doesn't mean that you should be scared of writing examples that are wrong. Actually, I prefer those because they make me feel better. I'm joking. I prefer those because there is more learning outcomes for other people. That's the politically correct answer. Il bosco è verde e il lago è bellissimo. This is a great example to practice e. So the open e and the closed e. And these are extremely important, but again, slightly advanced topics. Advanced because not many people cover them, because you don't have to cover them. But they're also basic because, I mean, you speak two words and I understand if you've spoken Italian for 10 years or if you've spoken Italian for a week, just based on these things, right? So it's important to know. E has the acute accent on it and it doesn't. Bosco means woods, right? The forest, bosco. Il is the masculine article that goes with it. So the forest. And look, we have our old friend. Guys, these words are just everywhere. How convenient. The forest is, this means green. The forest is green. E, very simple. E, o. These words are also very useful. These words. These words are super useful because they are connectors, right? This and that. This or that. So if we put it together with what we had before, questo, quello. Questo e quello. Quello o questo. These, inside of these two examples, there are some of the four most useful words in the whole language, right? Questo e quello. This and that. That or this. Quello o questo. Pronunciation-wise, it's not very challenging, but again, these are the four words that I would learn if I were to visit Italy tomorrow and didn't have any time to do any sort of revision or study. Il bosco è verde e, so the forest is green, and il lago, the lake, this means lake, è bellissimo, is beautiful. And again, the word bello and then the superlativo bellissimo, these are they should be fairly familiar. Bello, good looking. Bellissimo, beautiful. And you can use beautiful for feminine or masculine nouns, words, people, whatever. So it would be bella, bellissima, bello, bellissimo, right? So I could say l'Italia è bellissima, il Giappone è bellissimo. That because Japan is masculine and Italy is feminine, so you would use obviously the two words in the corresponding genders. Anyways, this is probably too basic. You probably guys know this already. Great example. Correct. Il bosco è verde e il lago è bellissimo. just begun negli Stati Uniti. Ok, negli Stati Uniti diciamo clock, not hour. In what's the context of that? And I think this refers to a previous comment. If I can. Okay, so there was a previous comment. This comment isn't really related to the image at hand. And please, guys, if you have any more questions, comments, or examples that you'd like me to cover on this image, let me know, because it's already been half an hour, so I'm about to close. There is this interesting comment that was posted. This refers to the fact that so the time zone, obviously the time zones don't change, but in Italy and most of Europe, in the UK as well, there is this concept of summertime. So in the UK, it's known as summertime, or British summertime, BST. So that's why you've seen, sometimes instead of seeing like UTC +0 or +1, +2, when we're talking about time zones, you see BST or GMT. These are all things that stem from that. And during the summer, the idea is that the clock is moved forward or backwards. And this happens in Italy as well. The name for that is ORA LEGALE, which I like very much. I mean, I don't like the concept of changing times, but I like the name because it makes it clear that it's something artificial that the governments have just decided. But anyways, whether or not you like it, that's what it's called. Ora legale. L'ora legale. Which literally means the legal hour, right? That's what the words mean. But yeah, anyways, interesting fact, maybe annoying to some of us, but that's what it is. And with regard to the comment here, gli orologi ha cambiato. L'ora è cambiata. L'ora è cambiata. Ora being hour or unit of time, feminine. Cambiata, obviously, we need to abide by the gender. L'ora è cambiata, or è cambiata l'ora. Doesn't matter. The meaning is the same. Oh, the hour changed. Oh, okay, yeah. All right, thanks. Yeah, I made a mistake. Thanks a lot for the comment, by the way. I appreciate these comments as well. I'm here to learn. I hope that we have hold on a minute. I missed out a lot of things. Questa scena è molto tranquilla. Someone told me once to smile when you make the sound. I'm not sure. Yeah. So someone told me once to smile when you make the sound as opposed to it. Yes. I think that these are sort of they're useful. These tips and tricks are useful if you want to devote 2.5 minutes learning it. I think it's just more useful to learn you know, what the sound sounds like and how it's different. Clearly, you can always say and being extremely upset, right? You don't have to be happy or smiling. So yes, smiling helps in the sense that you have to open your mouth wider to say That's it. You have to open your mouth wider. Um, so that's it. It's just the difference between, say, the pronunciation of like in hat, and like in cart, right? It's that kind of difference. So I would, yeah, personally, the smile, I understand it. I understand why that would help someone initially, but I think, yeah, I don't think you need it. I don't think you need it. I might be wrong, but ciao a tutti, ciao Franci, ciao alla prossima. Ciao a tutti. You didn't make a mistake. I learned to use hour for time change in Europe. Fair enough. Okay, cool. All right. Grazie a tutti. Ciao a tutti, ragazzi. This has been a nice session. I hope you found it helpful. Please hit the thumbs up button if you like it. If you're watching this as a recording, post a comment with some of your descriptions of this photo. I think it's a nice photo, by the way. Or if you have any recommendation for future photos. We've spoken and learned some Italian today. I think the focus was on the verb to be. We touched on the verb to be. We touched on the most useful, essential Italian words and how to use them. And then quickly explained the si, but it's not the si impersonale. This was the si riflessivo. So it's a different form. Let me know if you have questions. We can focus on this more in the future. And it's very Italian, by the way, to use si riflessivo. And then we had some back and forth around summertime, which is a really annoying topic for me, but I'm glad it came up because it's useful to know the words. Ora legale, l'ora legale, c'è l'ora legale, ora non c'è l'ora legale. So people turn their clock backwards. And this happens once a year in most of Europe. I don't think it happens in the States. I know it doesn't happen in most of Asia. But yeah, it's an idea we have here that we defend. And so, yeah, it's been nice. It's been lovely. More of this next Sunday. Grazie a tutti. Complimenti. Congratulations to the ones that have come up with examples this week. These examples were pretty good. As I said, they're getting better and better. I'll see you next time. Grazie a tutti. Ciao ciao. Buona domenica e buona settimana. Studiate l'italiano.